have one tree when you can have two? That seems to be the theory in Casorzo, Italy, where there's a remarkable sight to behold in a field. It's two trees in one, and they're completely different species of tree. The bottom one is a mulberry tree, but it has a cherry tree growing on top of it. It's a sort of hybrid duplex of the kind that very rarely occurs in nature. While smaller trees do occasionally grow on top of larger ones, it's very unusual to see two fully grown trees cohabiting and thriving like this. Usually, one of the tree's good health will come at the expense of the other, and it's usually the tree on top that suffers. As the beautiful white flowers on the cherry tree demonstrate, that isn't the case here. Unsurprisingly, the strange tree has become a tourist attraction for the area, although it's had to be fenced off for its own protection so that people don't get too close. Climbing it is illegal. Mystery surrounds the origins of the Hedenter in Austria. It's believed to have been built during the reign of the Roman Emperor Constantius II, who ruled between the years of 351 and 361, but that's little more than a best guess. The ancient Romans sometimes built structures like this to mark the site of significant military victories. That would make a degree of sense, because the ancient city of Carnuntum once existed in this spot and played host to around 50,000 people surrounded by a walled fortress. The settlement is long gone, but the one remaining arch of this building remains. For several centuries, it was misunderstood as the gateway to the old city. As so little of its true history is known, plenty of myths and legends have grown up around the Hedenter. It's become a popular gathering spot for pagans who refer to it as Heaven's Gate for reasons unknown. If it really was a Roman tetrapylon, it would probably have a statue of either an emperor or a god in the middle of it, but there's no sign of it today. There's a clue in the name of Envatanet Island in Kenya that tells you a lot about how the Kenyans feel about it. The name of the strange-looking island, which is on Lake Turkana, translates as no return. That ties in with the myths and legends that surround the place, which suggests that nobody who enters it will ever return. In 1935, English explorer Vivian Fush decided to test that theory by visiting it with colleagues Bill Dayson and Martin Shelfels on a research mission. But when they failed to return, it only served to reinforce the legends. While some conspiracy theorists claim that the island contains an alien base full of extraterrestrial beings who will abduct anybody who gets too close, the Kenyan belief is that those who descend into the enormous crater at the island's center will be struck by lightning and obliterated. Photographs taken by planes that have flown over the crater show what appear to be the remains of ancient huts at its center, but nobody's been brave enough to go and inspect it with their own eyes for a very long time. Perhaps that's for the best. There are many ancient and wonderful temples in Syria, most of which have their own fascinating story to tell, but the fascination with the Temple of Ain Dara is especially strong. That's mostly because of the huge human foot imprints that appear at the entrance to the temple. They've been there for at least as long as the temple has, which is at least 3,300 years. And there's disagreement about how they got there. Scientists and archaeologists say that they were carved by the same people who built the temple and are intended to represent the procession of the gods into the temple's inner chambers. But many local legends say that the temple itself was visited by a great god with clawed feet who left the imprints himself. It's a little-known secret. The old city contains a structure that is, or at least was, a sun temple and was dedicated to the great god Ra. It was built somewhere around 2,400 years ago and used to have a stepped pyramid of its own. From ancient Egyptian historical records, we know that there were once 6 sun temples at Abu Gharaib, but only 2 remain today. They're ruins today, as the colossal stone obelisk that once marked the westernmost point of Abu Gharaib. The massive red granite blocks that are scattered across the area are a puzzle for archaeologists. They appear to have been precision engineered, with polished surfaces and holes so smooth that they must surely have been made using advanced drilling technology. As if that weren't mysterious enough, there are also several square alabaster dishes that contain markings akin to the gears of an engine. Did the people who lived here have access to advanced technology? If so, what happened to it and to them? Once upon a time, Barsakelmes was an island in the Aral Sea. These days, the water level is a little lower than it was in ancient times, and it's now a plateau in Kizilorda, Kazakhstan. Much like Avitinet Island in Kenya, this is said to be a place that people visit and never return from. Even the name, which translated from its original Turkic language, means whoever comes here shall not return. In 1939, it was declared a national reserve and was closed off to visitors for the remainder of the 20th century. Nobody knows what the Soviets did there during those years, but there are plenty of rumors that it was used for top-secret research. Even today, electronic devices fail as you get close, and navigational equipment stops working. There have been documented cases of people's skin turning blue after spending too long at or close to the plateau, and a commonly told legend about a group of nomads who stayed here for what they believed to be a year, only to return to civilization to find that 3 decades had passed. It's a mysterious and seemingly supernatural place. Amid the ruins of Amman in Jordan, where you'll find the crumbling shells of temples and palaces, you'll also find the shattered remnants of a giant human hand made from stone. This is the Hand of Hercules, and even in its broken, 3-fingered state, it's still a strangely intimidating thing to look at. The hand is part of the Temple of Hercules, which was built during the 2nd century during the Roman occupation of Amman's citadel. For reasons that have been lost to history, it appears that the temple was never finished. The presence of an elbow made from marble implies that there was once a plan to build a colossal statue of Hercules here. The region is known for earthquakes, so it's possible that the Romans gave up on the idea of building anything here after enduring one earthquake too many, for which, had it been completed, would likely have been the largest statue in the world at that time. To their liking. As tour guides like to point out,